Okay, you are a would-be first-time home buyer and you would like to know what is escrow. In this video, I'm going to explain what escrow is and what escrow does in a first-time home buyer's transaction. Hello again, this is Southern California real estate broker Daryl Williams with Win-Win Realtors here in Southern California. If you like our content and you are new here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get started. So you are buying a house for the very first time and people are starting to use a lot of new terminology with you. Words that you may have heard before but really didn't understand, such as escrow. My goal in this video is to explain to you what is an escrow and what's the job of the escrow officer or the escrow company. Also, it is important to understand that each state may have their own way of handling an escrow transaction. What is escrow? Escrow is a neutral third party who handles the transfer paperwork or the sales paperwork on behalf of the seller and the buyer. The escrow officer prepares a deed to transfer the title. They collect the initial deposits from the buyer, and they collect demands on issues against the title in order to have those items removed from the title. An escrow officer's job is to assure that all of the conditions of an escrow transaction have been met. The escrow officer does not give legal advice. How long does it take to complete an escrow? Completing an escrow depends on many factors, the main one being mutual agreement. A buyer and seller can mutually agree on a time period in order to close an escrow. However, what's important for buyers to understand is an escrow is not a science. Things come up in an escrow. Issues come up against the title that were not anticipated. Issues come up securing the buyer's loan, which were not anticipated. Issues come up as a result of a physical inspection, which was not anticipated. So how long does it take to close an escrow? It depends. What happens when escrow closes? When an escrow has closed, this means that money has exchanged hands, a loan has been funded, and a deed has been recorded at the local county recorder's office, thus transferring the title to the buyer. Once an escrow closes, the escrow officer has several important duties to complete, such as paying off service providers, paying off the seller's previous lender, paying commissions to real estate people, and preparing final closing statements for both the buyer and the seller. What happens if escrow does not close? If buyer and seller are disputing, prior to the buyer receiving his money, both buyer and seller will need to sign mutual cancellation instructions. If the seller refuses to sign cancellation instructions giving the buyer back his money, the buyer and the seller can choose to mediate, arbitrate, or possibly end up in court over a dispute of that money. If ultimately the money is left in escrow and neither the buyer nor seller takes any action to resolve the matter, the escrow officer can file what's called an interpleader action to force a resolution the escrow company will usually charge some type of cancellation fee to the defaulting party. Question of the day. After watching this video, do you have a better understanding of what escrow is and what escrow does? If so, let me know in the comments below. In some states, escrows are handled by closing attorneys. Here in the state of California, escrows are handled by independent companies that are licensed by the Department of Corporations. I'm Daryl Williams. This is Win-Win Realtors TV. If you have any questions for me, or if you know someone that's facing a probate administration, share this video with them.